Hello everyone, we got another lovely patch for WARNO, which introduces a 10v10 map for destruction mode. So 10v10 destruction, let's freaking go. And a lot of nice bug fixes. For example, LGBs now land on target, and we have now better seize and hold orders that don't crash the game anymore. We have no crashes in the armory anymore. That happened quite often. So a lot of nice fixes there as well. And then we have a good amount of balance changes and data fixes. For example, the SU-25 now has AP on its 30mm cannon again. Not as great as before, but it still has 4 penetration. So it's still a pretty good gun. Leo 1A1 got buffed in its availability. So that's a great buff to the 2nd Panzer Grenadier. As if we have a look here, it now has 12.8.4 availability instead of the 12.6.3 availability it had before. So these can now be taken up vetted quite easily, and they are pretty solid on that. So a nice buff to the 2nd Panzer Grenadier, which got another 2 lovely buffs as well. If we have a look back here, as they also got their Tornado F3 cheaper, 225 points now. And we have a couple of other nice changes here. The 105mm howitzers, for example, that were a bit lackluster before, now have better rate of fire. The 122mm as well. Self-propelled versions went from 5 to 6, and the towed ones went from 6 to 8 rate of fire. So those fire pretty quickly now. And then the big self-propelled guns all got more expensive. The M110s went up to 280 points. The 109s went up to 250 and 240 points. The 107 to 270, maybe a bit harsh. I don't think that thing was too great before. I don't think 270 is the right price there, but yeah, AMX went to 260, so a lot of big price changes there. And those tube artilleries were really strong before, so I think that's somewhat fair that they got nerfed this way. Apache, the ATGM versions went down in price, both the ATGM Apache and the normal one. And then the Apache Rocket went up in price though, and that thing was way too strong at 125 points, so it going up to 150 points makes total sense. Then we have a couple of buffs to the British. Their Assault Pioneers and their Terrier Pioneers went down 5 points in price. The Fallschirmjägers, that's the 3rd buff to this being the West German Fallschirmjägers, I think, went down in price. Let's have a look at it in the infantry tab. Those are now 60 points, so yeah, Fallschirmjägers now being a bit cheaper. And then a couple of the Panzergrenadier Marder going down to 25 points. That makes sense as well, as the Panzergrenadiers with Carl Gustavs are 30 points, and these here with the Panzerfaust 44 now are 25 points. Fair change. A lot of the cheap and not so great recon units went from 55 to 50 points. The British, the Aufklärer, the French and the Belgian 4-man squadrons. And then we have a couple more supply changes down here. And on the packed side, the Gwaditsa, the Malka and the Akatsia went up in price. The Akula AT went down a bit. The Mi-24 VP went down a bit. And the Su-27 has become more agile. So that thing, now with its gun and yeah, this should be a pretty good fighter. Su-27 before has great missiles with great range and so on, but was always a bit too clunky to be a nice fighter. It's still not the most amazing agile fighter. There's still better ones out there, as it shouldn't be, but it's not super clunky anymore. So Su-27 in the 39th should be a really nice fighter now, as it is having really high-end missiles for the Soviet side. So in general, a nice small patch that should come in handy. And I'm really looking forward to play the 2nd Panzer Grenadier more now, with the cheaper Panzer Grenadiers in Marders for 25 points, with the cheaper Fallschirmjägers, the better Leo 1A1s, and especially the Tornado. That should be a nice buff. Tornado obviously also a buff for the British. And with the cheaper Pioneers there, the British in general should be a bit better as well, which they are still needed to be, as they are still on the low end of the balance. So yeah, good changes in general. looking forward to it. The only thing that I'm a bit worried about is that the SU-25 got its AP shells back without going up in price again. So the SU-25 bullying might be back in business. We will figure that out together though, I guess. Hope to see you in the next one, and have a nice day.